If you have frustration because you feel like you wish you had more creativity in your life, but you don't know how to start, I made this video for you because I hear from a lot of people that they wish they could be more creative, a lot of non-artists, and they know that they're missing a key ingredient in life, which is a creative outlet, but they don't know where to begin. And of course they would want that, because creativity makes us, takes us back to our childhood when we could create things freely with no pressure. And if you don't have it in your life, you know you're missing something very important. It makes our lives better. Now, why do I say that? When you're being creative, you can get lost in a creative zone, and it's calming, it's meditative, and you're engaged in a very important conversation with probably the most important person, yourself. Because when you are creating, whether you're drawing a picture or you're writing a story or fleshing out a character, maybe to be in a play, whatever it is you're doing that's creative and not so intellectual, but it's a little more freeing, and you're in a conversation with yourself, you tend to ask yourself questions that reveal yourself to yourself. And that can only make our lives better, our relationships better. And I think a lot of what we learn from a creative practice, artistic discipline, teaches us how to have better lives, how to have happier lives. So these are the kinds of conversations you don't have with yourself when you're trying to decide what's for dinner or whom to vote for. You know, these are intimate conversations that only come when you are in touch with something deeper, in touch with something divine, right? Because the impulse to create, it's a divine inspiration. That desire was given to you by something greater than yourself, or maybe the greatest part of yourself. You then have an obligation, don't you? If whatever you think of as divine, God, the mystery supreme, that great source, gives you a desire to do something, you not only have the right to do it, no one could stop you. It's your divine right to act on that, but you kind of have a duty to yourself and to that source that's given you that inspiration. So whether or not what you make is ever seen by anybody or heard, that process is unlike any other, and you deserve to do it, and you should do it, and it benefits you and benefits the entire world. And you've been given this mission, and once you pursue it, once you start, you can learn so much about living. And I can go into depth on some of those specifically in some other videos, but I'll give you an example. If anybody, any of you has ever studied the craft of acting, they're the basics. There's a lot to it, but there are basics that are very, very simple. Not easy to do, but very simple. They are relax, be in the moment, which means you're not thinking about the line you just flubbed, and you're not worrying about the big dramatic crying scene coming up. You are in the moment. And you are listening and responding, so simply, to the other actor on stage with you. So your focus is on another person, and you're listening and responding. If you just do that, you'll be a better actor than most people who don't understand those principles. But also, if you do those things in your own life, you are bound to have a more peaceful life, better relationships. And so the reason these rules of art work in art is because that's how they work in life. And lots of times we aren't taught things about how to have a happy life. You know, these aren't things that come up in school, but if you're studying a discipline, a creative discipline, you learn these things and then you just employ them in your life. Another example is if you're working on a painting and you know there is something wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it, turn it upside down, turn it to a mirror and look at it that way. But if you change your perspective on that image, chances are very good you're going to pinpoint the problem and the remedy will come to you. So it's changing your perspective, right? How does that work in life? You put yourself in someone else's shoes. You see it from a different angle. And it helps you understand a situation better. So why do people who want a more creative life not have a creative life? They'll tell themselves they don't have time, they don't have a dedicated space, there's too much going on with work and family, and these all might be legitimate, but the truth is I think it's fear, and fear is the absolute worst enemy of creativity. Fear of looking like a fool, fear of being not good enough, fear of failing. But there is no failure in creativity. If you look at what actors do in rehearsal, what they're doing in rehearsal is not ready for an audience. Are they failing? No, it's part of the process. My sketchbook is full of a bunch of crazy doodles. Are they failures because I'll never show them to anyone? No, that's just part of my process. And it's all about play, and it's all about fun. And there used to be a very revered member of the court of medieval Renaissance Europe, whatever, and it was the court jester, and they were given a specific freedom of speech, and it was the jester's privilege. Well, we have freedom of speech. Most of us do in the West, even though it may be, well, that's a whole other topic. But the truth of the matter is you owe it to yourself and to your community and to your God and to exercise your freedom of speech. You have a duty. And freely expressing your ideas that are probably coming from a divine source anyway, right? You have an obligation to get that out there. There's a reason these things come to you. You've heard, if you build it, they will come. So what does that mean? It means if you begin, open up that sketch pad, take out that pen, whatever it is. If you begin, the inspirations will keep coming. You will keep getting prodded to go further. And the more relaxed you are and the less fear you have, the more you can create, and you will be surprised what amazing things you can create out of nothing. Didn't exist before until you did it. So calling yourself an artist or a court jester is a lot of pressure, maybe, and that's valid. But really it all boils down to, and this is the most important thing, if you hear nothing else, to just do it. And when I say just do it, I mean play. That's all there is to it. It's play. It's like being a kid and playing. And that's all creativity is. So it can't be scary, can it? If all you're doing is playing. Do you get scared when you're, throwing the frisbee for your dog? No, it's play. Your dog certainly isn't afraid of failing. He's happy to fail over and over again. Keep doing it. Let me keep failing until I get it. Because for him there is no failing. It's just all play. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, whether you are creating consistently, or if you're a person who wants more creativity in your life. I'd love to hear what you think about it. And liking and subscribing tells me that you want more of this content. So thanks for being here. I hope you get moving on that project you've been dreaming about with no fear and all joy, because enthusiasm is the key. Rock on.